Hey guys, Josh here, welcome to my review of the F1 2015 Belgian Grand Prix. So my initial thoughts then on the Grand Prix, it was actually really solid, to be honest. Not quite up there with Britain and Hungary, but who really expected it to be, really? I mean, I think it was a really solid race, a solid 7 out of 10. We had some good battling, some good overtaking, and a fantastic fight for the third podium spot, of course, taken in the end, spoiler alert, by Romain Grosjean. Fantastic seeing Lotus and Grosjean back up there. And of course, the race was won by Hamilton ahead of Rosberg. Mercedes absolutely dominated the race. Hamilton in a class of his own, Rosberg just not able to match his pace in qualifying or in the race. It's going to be really tough, I think, to see Rosberg taking the title this year. Hamilton already, for me, has one hand on his third World Championship. Grosjean then came home in third, fantastic result as I mentioned before for Lotus and Grosjean, of course, the first time since the American Grand Prix of 2013, so just fantastic to see Grosjean back up there. A fantastic driver, one of the most underrated by teams in F1 and I guess by fans as well. I really do hope Renault do take over Lotus so Grosjean can get fighting for wins again, because let's not forget, at the end of 2013 he was the second best driver behind Sebastian Vettel, so Grosjean really does have a huge heap of talent and is a very consistent and very quick driver, a complete different driver to what he was in 2012. He's improved so much in his time in Formula 1, so happy for things to be finally going his way. Sadly, could not go the way for his teammate Pastor Maldonado retiring, along with Nico Hülkenberg and Carlos Sainz. Sainz has just been so unlucky, 4 retirements in a row, none of which is fault. You've really got to feel for him. While his teammates scoring big points, he's stuck in the garage watching from the sidelines. I just really do feel for Sainz. It's been a horrible year in terms of reliability. On his side, he's been absolutely fantastic. He's been very quick. He's been faster than Verstappen, in my opinion. He's done the better job than Verstappen, but he just hasn't been able to show what he can do, really, due to the awful reliability of Toro Rosso. They really do need to sort that. As I mentioned, Maldonado really unlucky again. His 7th retirement of the season. Just when are things going to go right for the Venezuelan, I really do not know. Daniel Ricciardo was very unlucky. He'd have probably got the final podium spot, possibly. It is questionable. I mean, that Red Bull looked really quick in the race. I'm confident they would have probably got third place. And Hülkenberg never really got going for him. Didn't even make the start. Really unlucky. He didn't do the best job in qualifying, but I was confident he was going to bring it back for the race. So really unlucky for Hülkenberg, Maldonado, Ricciardo, and Sainz. Anyway, let's head back up to the front then and talk about the driver in 4th place, and that was Danny Kvyat, coming from 12th on the grid. A really good result for the Russian. Great to see him up in high points once again for the second race in a row, of course. Coming off the back of that second in Hungary, seems to have really boosted his confidence, and he's looking like a really mature racing driver, pulling off some really good overtakes. And let's not forget, he's only in his 2nd year in Formula 1. He's ahead of Ricciardo in the standings. Of course, Ricciardo's had a bit of bad luck, but nevertheless, he's ahead of Ricciardo, and just a really good drive from Kvyat. Another driver that's got ahead of his teammate in the driver's standings is Sergio Perez. A fantastic performance to get 5th place in this race. Slightly lucky, of course, with Ricciardo, and I guess you could argue Maldonado possibly would have got. It's questionable where Hülkenberg, Maldonado, and Ricciardo would have been. But I guess he was lucky with Ricciardo and Vettel having their problems. So possibly, Perez would have been down in 7th, but nevertheless, he just kept his head down. He did his job, and I think 5th place was the best Force India could have really hoped for. Their race car was not up to the standard of Red Bull, even Williams and Ferrari, but nevertheless, Perez managed to finish ahead of both of them, and a really solid result. I believe Perez's best result since Bahrain, of course, where he got that podium. So fantastic to see Perez. I think Austria, actually, I think he got 5th in Austria last season. But nevertheless, a really solid result. His best result for a long time. That's what matters. And Force India's best result as well for a long time. So fantastic seeing Perez up there. Did a fantastic job. And, just happy to see him return to the points. Hopefully a bit more consistently after that disastrous Hungarian Grand Prix. This was a really solid result for Force India. However, they have dropped behind Lotus by 1 point, so it's going to be so interesting to see this battle between Force India and Lotus. It's really hotting up, and that's the battle I have my eye on for the second half of the season. Sixth place then was Felipe Massa in the Williams. Really disappointing race from him. Finished where he started. Williams just got it completely wrong on the setup. Did not gear their car for the race in terms of getting a straight line speed. Something that Williams are usually so strong at. They were absolutely horrendous at. Didn't have the acceleration or the straight line speed. The downforce wasn't really there for them either. So it was really just kind of a poorly set up Williams really. So, you know, Massa couldn't really do much more, but did fail to get past Perez, which questionably he should have done. He had a couple of really good opportunities, but he didn't manage to take them. So, you know, he finished ahead of Bottas, but of course that was mainly down to that awful tyre blunder, you know, putting on, 3 softs and 1 medium, I think, was on Valtteri Bottas's car. So an absolute joke, really, from Williams. They've had pit stop blunders in the past, but this is by far their worst. I just feel sorry for Bottas and whoever messed up that tyre, you know, whoever put a medium tyre in a soft blanket, a blanket marked with the soft tyres is just going to get shot probably. But, you know, really unlucky from Bottas starting third. Didn't have the best start. You know, Williams really struggling with the new start regulations. Let's hope they get started for Monza. Should be better in Monza though, so hoping for a better race for them there. Kimi Räikkönen was in 7th. Probably disappointed really not to get higher. The Ferrari, certainly on Räikkönen's part, wasn't quite up to the standard they were hoping for, considering this is one of Räikkönen's best tracks as well. I really thought he could probably get up into 5th, but that just really didn't work out for him, so he finished 7th, only just ahead of Max Verstappen as well, who nearly got him on the final lap, but he kind of messed that up a bit. A slight dot on Vet, otherwise a fantastic race with Max Verstappen. Fantastic move around the outside of Felipe Nasr at Blanchimont. And also some really solid moves, a great strategy from Toro Rosso as well to get him up into 8th place. 4 more points for Verstappen to add to his tally. He's looking really impressive this season and could even get 9th in the drivers' standings, which would be a fantastic achievement. And I believe higher than any other Toro Rosso driver has ever achieved, I think, since Sebastian Vettel. So that would be fantastic. But, you know, certainly 10th, I think, as well in the standings could be possible for Verstappen if he can keep this good run of form, and his reliability is so much better than Sainz's, which is so frustrating, of course, for the Spaniard. But you know, I'm sure he'll get his good luck soon. And you know, Verstappen, of course, has had his fair share of bad luck as well, but Sainz has just been, you know, even more unlucky. I could see things going Toro Rosso's way though for once, and at least they were reliable with Verstappen and could get some more points. Valtteri Bottas was 9th, as I mentioned. That blunder really hurt him. Awful race for him, race to forget for sure. Marcus Ericsson came home in 10th, ahead of his teammate Felipe Nasr. Great result for Marcus Ericsson, scoring a point for the second race in a row, of course, 2 10th places. This is what Ericsson just really needs to do more of, really, and I'm happy things are finally going his way. You know, ahead of Jenson Button in the standings as well, which I found quite funny, and just a couple of points behind Sainz and not too far off Fernando Alonso. So let's hope Marcus Ericsson can keep this run of form going. Felipe Nasr has really been struggling all season really with the brakes. He's had brake issues at pretty much every race. Another 11th finish for him. The 3rd time he's finished in 11th in the last 4 races. So what's he got to do to catch a break? You know, he had a slow puncture as well, which not many people knew really, because the TV didn't pick up on it. I mean, FOM didn't really show it. So yeah, really unlucky for Nasr. You know, he's currently sitting in 13th in the standings. You know, mainly kind of backed up by that, you know, really good Australian Grand Prix. So I really hope he can get back into the points. It's been an awful long time, and Nasr really does need some luck because things are not going his way. 12th place was Vettel. Talking of things not going his way, of course, had that massive tyre blowout. I'm gonna remain neutral on this. I'm not gonna voice my opinion, but there's 2 sides to the argument. Basically, if you guys didn't know, Vettel's camp, of course, and I guess Ferrari as well, are kind of blaming Pirelli for it, and Pirelli are saying, but you know, they kind of just ignored the recommended tyre life of the tyres, and they just took them too far. It's their own fault. So basically, you know, Ferrari blaming Pirelli and Pirelli blaming Ferrari. I'm not quite sure where I stand on it really, so I won't voice my opinion, but you guys can let me know yours down in the comment section below. Who do you think's to blame, Pirelli or Ferrari, or is it just kind of one of those things? Fernando Alonso and Jenson Button 13th and 14th, not too far ahead of Marion Stevens. Marion Stevens, I believe, or at least Mary, was only 39 seconds behind Jenson Button, which is a fantastic achievement for Manor. And that wasn't due to safety cars. You know, there was only one virtual safety car, which of course, remember, keeps the gaps the same. So that means that over, you know what, 43 laps, Manor managed to remain behind Manor. I'll start again. Manor managed to remain behind McLaren Just 39 seconds gap between McLaren and Manor after 43 laps. That's what I was trying to say. So, you know, a really good performance from Manor, but I think mainly it was just a dismal performance from McLaren. Their, you know, engine upgrades really did not work. I really hope they get him sorted soon, because I thought McLaren had actually changed something after Hungary, but clearly that was a massive fluke result. And I think they're probably just looking for Singapore for their next good result. Dismal times for McLaren, and it's only going to get worse. I guess it can only really get better, but you know what I mean. This is probably their worst race of the season, to be honest. Button had contact with Will Stevens at the start, hence if you remember that radio message where he said Button was checking if he had damage, and that's why. And then as I have already mentioned, Sainz, Ricciardo, Maldonado and Hülkenberg all retiring. So overall then, the race was pretty good, as I mentioned before. 7 out of 10, really, really solid race. Fantastic to see Grosjean on the podium. Great result as well for Fiat and Perez. Not quite the best result for Raikkonen. Great drive from Max Verstappen as well. Ericsson lucky with a point, but, you know, he was there. That's, you know, what counted, coming from 13th on the grid. He outqualified Nasr as well, so fully deserved that, but Nasr, of course, unlucky again. Vettel, of course, unlucky with that puncture. That's put him out the title race, so it seems, for now anyway. And Sainz, Ricciardo, Maldonado and Hülkenberg all retiring. Once again, really, especially for Sainz, not going his way. And of course, Maldonado as well, 7 out of 11 races he's retired from. Yeah, it's just a horrible situation, really, for Maldonado. Are we going to be seeing him in F1 next year? If Renault don't take over, yes. If Renault do take over, but of course, no. Anyway, that's my review then of the F1 2015 Belgian Grand Prix. A fantastic race, really. You know, I can't wait for Monza. You guys can let me know your thoughts on the race. And who was your driver of the day? Was it Grosjean, Fiat, Verstappen, or Sergio Perez? Mine was Grosjean, for the record. A fantastic drive from him. Anyway, hope you guys have enjoyed my review then. I'll see you guys in Monza for my preview, which should be up on Monday. See you guys until then. Goodbye.